we have very interesting situation. We have the real now presentation. How do you say what's that word in English? Of occult groups. They completely disappear into the higher planes. So you were faithful ones who are still remaining on this plane. Wonderful that you came back. So this music, what you were hearing, was actually one Finnish heavy band, which is called Nightwish, and but they have so beautiful music. This kind of, how do you call those? Like a powerful and masterful pieces. It has it's a certain section of music. I don't remember what it is, but anyway, and she is. You will find her, and maybe Michael, you can send the link. Her pieces, what she has been producing. But she has beautiful voice, and the music is. There are many of that kind of pieces that it is nice of listening, and we will listen another one also. But now I'm going to go into the meditation of the new schools, and then we will close, but we will show you, those who want to look at the Buddhist video upon the future Buddha, Maitreya. And that, I think, is about 20 minutes. Michael, how long is that, the future Buddha? I think it is not too long. 11 minutes, right. So they are these new productions in the YouTube, and you find just beautiful little things which are inspiring you. But we will go into the meditation, and we are contemplating what was Michael already going through. And so it again demands a little bit work by you. So this is not any simple meditation. It needs about that we all contemplate the words of the Master. Let us again align with this moment that we have at our hand, the Vesak full moon sacred days. This meditation is reflection from perspective of Morya Federation, but I try to also feel into here that those who are not the members of Morya Federation, that we can have this kind of general idea as well. Those who are the members, let us align with this entity which we are calling Morya Federation, one of those outlets in the world nowadays who are working for the coming of the great avatar, and who are working for the educating, rising aspirants and disciples. Mostly these schools are about preparation for initiation. So our approach is basically upon foundational triangle of meditation, study and service. meditation to contact and absorb higher spiritual energies. Study to ensure that the mind deeply understands the principles of the ageless wisdom and its modes of application to the evolution of humanity and the planet. And then selfless service, so that all that is contacted and learned may be practically applied of the human race and the welfare of all kingdoms of nature on our planet. Master Morya is the head of all esoteric schools. Let us think carefully about the opportunity presented to us and calling upon us to develop our fullest spiritual potential. We do live at a unique time in human history, a time foreseen for millions of years ever since the establishment of the spiritual hierarchy on our planet. Think about it. According to the ageless wisdom, some 18.5 million years ago, that which was then foreseen with its amazing potentials and dangers is happening now, and you can become a conscious part of this process if you will. And if your aspiration for illumination, loving expression, and selfless service is sufficient, strong. Two great processes are now occurring on our planet. The spiritual hierarchy of our planet is in process of externalizing after millions of years of working behind the scenes for the upliftment of our little humanity. Even more important, the great Lord known in the West as the Christ, and in the East as the Lord Maitreya, Krishna, and the Bodhisattva, is in process of reappearing. These two processes will make possible the redemption and salvation of humanity and the initiation of our planet Earth, so that it becomes a sacred planet. Earth is already sacred in inner, but it is this outer world that has to be still purified and organized. The ageless wisdom does exist, and this teaching, especially at this time, is meant to help intelligent, spiritually oriented individuals and groups to assist the spiritual hierarchy and the Christ in the externalization and reappearance processes. Humanity simply must learn about what is really happening, so few know, understand, or care. However, those who are deeply versed in the ageless wisdom teaching can carry the word of these deeply significant spiritual happenings to all who can be reached, so that they too can cooperate with the hierarchy and the Christ at this unique time of planetary history, a time of great opportunity and yet of great peril to the human race. So let us all say, we have gathered in your name, Lord Maitreya, be with us. Welcome his living presence. Alignment. Establish physical poise and comfort. Quiet the personality vehicles through steady, rhythmic breathing. Abstract the consciousness from the personality vehicles and focus in the observer, who is the disciple, the self-conscious soul in incarnation. Imaginatively merge and blend the soul in incarnation with the soul on its own plane. And imagine the focus of consciousness to be polarized now within the causal body or egoic lotus on the higher mental plane. Now visualize your fellow students and those, the members of Morya Federation, fellow students in Morya Federation student group, and members of the Morya Federation faculty and administration as souls expressing through echoic lotuses. And merge imaginatively in group soul consciousness. Antakarana. Imaginatively create a point of tension infused by the will of the soul on the fourth subplane of the mental plane. And visualize the Antakarana or rainbow bridge in the colors of your soul and personality rays, as if rising from a high point in your lower mind into the spiritual triad, which is your true higher self on the atmic, buddhic, and highest mental subplane. Now choose the word of the color of your soul ray. And those who do not know the color of the soul ray, use the indigo blue, the second ray color. And the word of power, using the appropriate word of power according to your soul ray. And those who don't know, please use the second ray. I see the greatest light. Project a line of living light into the triad and across the rainbow bridge. And see the color. And use the word of power. See now the group Antakarana terminating in a brilliant blue-white diamond of light high above the group. Let the blue-white diamond symbolically represent Shamballa. Now imaginatively merge with the energy of hierarchy. And as if in the light of Shamballa, the light of unfettered enlightenment. Open imaginatively as a group to the one fundamental school of occultism in Shamballa, visualizing or attempting to sense Sanat Kumara, the Lord of the world, as the greatest example of the teaching ray on our planet at the center of Shamballa. Think of the four great schools, which are as the branches of the one fundamental school of occultism in Shamballa, branches of one stupendous university. One, the Trans-Himalayan branch, serving the first, fourth, and fifth sub-races of the Aryan race. Two, the Southern India branch. These are Aryan branches serving the second and the third sub-races of the Aryan race. Three, a branch that works with the fourth root race and has two fourth root races adepts at its head. And the fourth, a branch in process of forming that will have its headquarters in the Occident at some place not yet disclosed. It has for its main object the instructing of those connected with the coming sixth root race. Impress upon your mind that the Trans-Himalayan branch and later a fourth as yet unformed branch in the Occident are the only branches of the one fundamental school of occultism in Shamballa to which the Western students of occultism will belong. Descend imaginatively into the presence of the Christ, the head of the heart and heart of the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. Offer your heart and soul to the great Lord. Pledge that you will do all you can to facilitate his reappearance and the upliftment of humanity under his guidance. Realize that the emerging new schools of will contribute to the success of his mission as the Bodhisattva for the Aquarian age. Seek now imaginatively to come a rapport with the six masters who are or will be the particular foci of the developing new schools of esotericism. Masters, Master M, Master Kutumi, Master DK, Master Hilarion, an English master, and Master R. Focus especially upon Master M, head of all esoteric schools and organizations. Attempt to feel his power sustaining our efforts and all similar efforts, and selflessly and as a student group invoke him, for he has instructed us to do so. And we call Master Morya. Visualize these masters as the points of a six-pointed indigo star, with the masters Morya, Kutumi, and DK forming the 3 points of the upward pointing triangle, and Master R occupies the lowest manifesting point of the downward pointing star, with the English Master on the same side as Master KH, on the left as one faces the star, and Master H on the right, the same side on which Master DK is found. There are various ways to apportion the Master's position within the six-pointed star. Always Master M should be at the apex and Master R at the base of the point. Visualize it as an indigo six-pointed star. And we have in our symbol, our logo, the 6 masters. See the Christ at the center of the six-pointed star. Visualize Sanat Kumara above the Christ, inspiring the Great Lord and the 6 associated masters. Now imagine for a moment the 7 preparatory schools in process of development, and seek imaginatively and briefly to feed into their nature and quality. Imagine for a moment the 7 preparatory schools in process of development, and seek imaginatively and briefly to feel into their nature and quality. Greece or Syria. Middle West. Southern France. Scotland and Wales. Sweden. New Zealand, Japan, imagine for a moment now the 7 advanced schools in process of development, and seek imaginatively and briefly to feel into their nature and quality. Egypt, California, Italy, Ireland, Russia, Australia, Western China, we realize that Morya Federation is intended to be a vital energy seed to help to stimulate the eventual emergence of the 14 future schools of meditation. We realize that as students, faculty members, or administrators within the Morya Federation, we are a part of an important spiritual initiative, which may be of assistance in helping in the future development upon earth. Soon, or when the time is right, to approach the ashram to which are intended to belong, and thus improve our service to humanity. Tuning in with our self-devised oath primarily to our own solar angel, but also, if you wish, to your master and the hierarchy. In imagined alignment with the one fundamental school, the Christ, the 6 masters, and the group of faculty and students. Ponder your inner oath and the nature of the responsibility you have been making or you are ought to make. If you have been a member of the school, reaffirming. Visualize the beneficial results to the ashram should you manage to uphold your oath. And sustain some moments of silence. And aligning all around the world with similar efforts. And we are imagining that all the students are producing a wise and loving and successful conduit for the will to illumine. Now streaming forth towards humanity from the one photo school in Shamballa. Aligning now at the sacred time of the full moon, Vesak full moon, all the work which is done, the impulses which are pouring from Shambhala, one fundamental school, certainly strengthening now the efforts to bring illumination to mankind. Now you are going to take into the north, back to the north again, back to the cold. You are going to hear the special singing, the yoik, in the north. So, dearest friends, this is the end of our new school day, but we will play for you this 11 minutes long and, the little film of future Buddha Maitreya.
The Future Buddha, the Tale of Bodhisattva Maitreya. Countless eons ago, after making extensive offerings, Maitreya took bodhisattva vows from the Tathagata Great Power in the presence of many other Buddhas. From that moment onward, he has guided countless sentient beings to enlightenment, guiding them along the path of the three higher trainings: discipline, concentration, and wisdom, by means of the three vehicles: Shravakayana, Pratyeka Buddhayana, and Mahayana. As he walked the path of a bodhisattva, Maitreya's focus was meditating on great love. He didn't just teach this path, he also practiced it continuously himself. Maitreya often positioned himself at the gates of a great city and contemplated loving kindness. The power of his meditation was such that if people passing by were close enough to touch his feet, they too would receive the realization of great love. The Tathagatas of the 10 directions were greatly pleased by this and rejoiced in his actions. They prophesied that in all his future lives as a bodhisattva and a Buddha, he would be known by the name Love. This is how Maitreya received his name. In one of Maitreya's lives, he took rebirth as one of the 1,000 sons of a great king. Curious about their futures, the king wanted to know in what order his sons would become enlightened, so he placed all of their names into a bowl. The king entered a deep meditation for 7 days while performing many ritual offerings. He drew the names out of the bowl one by one. Maitreya's name came out 5th. The Buddha of that age, the Tathagata, limitless knowledge, predicted that Maitreya would be the 5th Buddha of the present era, Shakyamuni being the 4th. With dedication, Maitreya advanced through all the various levels of spiritual development, reaching the 10th and highest level of a bodhisattva, the cloud of Dharma, and then finally became a fully enlightened Buddha. Having attained the level of utmost perfection, he manifested in many different aspects in countless Buddha fields. At present, he resides in his Pure Land, Tushita, where he teaches the Mahayana path to countless advanced bodhisattvas. Maitreya taught his 5 famous texts to the great Arya Asanga at this very place. He also provides various teachings to his different disciples as per their requirements. He manifests himself as numerous spiritual masters in all directions of space, leading infinite beings towards full awakening. Eventually, Maitreya will appear as the 5th universal Buddha of this world age and turn the wheel of Dharma for the benefit of all sentient beings. This will come to pass in the following manner. In the future, due to the growth of delusion, the beings in this world will degenerate, and their lifespan will decrease, leading to much suffering. However, when human life expectancy has decreased to only 10 years, Maitreya will appear in the form of a great spiritual leader and will demonstrate the path of virtue. He will particularly emphasize the teachings of loving kindness, which will gradually lead to an improvement in the fortunes of humans in this world. As a result, they will start giving up their deluded attitudes and harmful behavior, and their lifespan will begin to increase. After many eons, the lifespan of humans will grow enormously, and they will live for up to 80,000 years. Then their lifespan will slowly decrease again until it reaches about 100. At this time, according to prophecy, Buddha Maitreya will fulfill his promise and appear as a universal teacher, or founding Buddha like Shakyamuni. The forthcoming Buddha, Maitreya, will be born in a forest garden from the side of Queen Youthful-Looking One, who will be the wife of King Great Compassionate Brahmin. On his arrival, the great celestial king Indra will receive the newborn Buddha with great devotion. The infant Maitreya is said to take 7 steps in every direction, after which lotuses will bloom at each spot where his feet touch the ground. He will then proclaim that he is the ultimate savior of the world and has come to free all living beings from suffering. This will be my last rebirth. There will be no further reincarnations for me. Upon hearing this, all the exalted beings and spirits of the world will feel delighted and carry out numerous purification rituals and present him with splendid offerings. After the birth of the child, his father was filled with pride and took him around the city. The citizens were also overjoyed at the arrival of the new treasure. The child was greeted by beautiful goddesses offering flowers, and the great sages predicted that he would attain full enlightenment and become a Buddha in his lifetime. Afterwards, he is expected to lead a life as a royal prince. Maitreya is predicted to be the foremost student among 4,000 others when it comes to his education. He will have multiple wives when the time comes for him to marry, and they will all live together for 10,000 years. Later on, a significant religious festival for Brahmins will take place in his kingdom. During this time, Maitreya will demonstrate his perfect understanding of the impermanent nature of phenomena, and will be inspired by the ascetic monks to renounce the endless cycle of existence. He will then announce his intention to leave his royal life and follow the religious path, which will shock everyone around him to such an extent that the whole palace and all his wives will fly up into space. After deciding to renounce his royal lifestyle, Maitreya will journey into the forest. All the celestial beings and saints will be delighted with his decision, pray for his success, and provide him with protection and support as he meditates. Inspired by his actions, a considerable number of his wives, 1,000 members of his retinue, and numerous city dwellers will follow after him in great devotion and also take ordination as religious practitioners. For 7 days, Maitreya will follow the ascetic way of life, during which he will abstain from all food and drink. Then, arising from the concentration of a deep meditative state, he will be given a bowl of milk by his wife, Dawai Tongchen. Refreshed, he will assume the Vajra posture and make the firm determination not to rise from meditation until he has attained enlightenment. That evening, he will overcome all malevolent forces and negative influences known as Maras, and in the night he will enter into a deep state of meditative absorption. Finally, with the rising sun, Maitreya, who in reality achieved full enlightenment many eons ago, will demonstrate for the benefit of his fortunate disciples the attainment of complete and perfect Buddhahood. Then, like all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future, he will guide innumerable beings towards liberation from suffering and towards the path of spiritual enlightenment. Following his enlightenment, Maitreya will remain silent for 7 weeks and observe his future disciples. Later, Indra, the celestial king, will offer him a golden wheel and the beautiful objects of the 5 senses, and request him to turn the wheel of Dharma for the benefit of all. Maitreya will then teach the 4 noble truths in response to this request, leading many millions of disciples to liberation. Throughout his extensive teaching career, Maitreya is said to have turned the wheel of great teachings 3 times, each of which attracted countless disciples, including not just humans, but also celestial beings, Dakas, Dakinis, and beings from other realms. Many of whom will immediately become arhats, bodhisattvas, and even fully enlightened Buddhas. Maitreya will guide and fulfill the needs of all those present with his pure body, speech, and mind. He will impart Hinayana teachings to some and Mahayana teachings to others based on their individual capacities. Through this approach, he will lead innumerable disciples to liberation and enlightenment through the 3 vehicles. Maitreya will remain for 60,000 years, providing direct spiritual guidance to his many disciples during his lifetime. Even after his passing, his teachings will endure for another 80,000 years, indirectly benefiting countless others. Through his great enlightened loving kindness, Maitreya will provide immeasurable benefits to numerous mother sentient beings. In the ultimate sense, Maitreya is beyond the cycle of death and rebirth. He is forever dedicated to benefiting all mother sentient beings. He once made a promise saying, "Anybody keeping just one vow of moral discipline purely during the time of Buddha Shakyamuni's teachings will become one of my personal disciples when I appear, and I shall liberate all such disciples." Maitreya is faithful to keeping this promise, and it serves as his sworn oath and pledge. Therefore, if we are fortunate enough to have met the teachings of Buddha Shakyamuni, and have been able to maintain a level of pure discipline, we can be assured of making a direct connection with Maitreya, become his disciple, and quickly achieve enlightenment.
We better to keep our vows. Very interesting points in that. Of course, this that he has many, many wives is one of those. But something in this Buddhist tradition is interesting to study. We have the prophecy that he comes in the cloud or clouds, and there in the Buddhist tradition he is going to be born. And that is also interesting, that how in that Buddhist tradition it is told how he is studying now in Tushita heaven with those others. So dear friends, we have this beautiful surrounding, the lights are giving this dim light, and we are preparing our opening. We will come back in 2 hours at 7 p.m. here, and what it was in GMT. Does Michael see that in the, or someone? Yes, 2 a.m. GMT. So we are really thinking of you. Still, we are welcoming all of you on Zoom. Hopefully you have stamina to wake up so early. Now we close from Phoenix.